Evening, everybody. It's 7:05. I'm a little late, but better late than never. Okay, this is your closing comment for Thursday, the 11th. Options expiration tomorrow, not the monthly, just the weekly. And this is video number 1751. Okay, so Disney followed to the downside today. Last night it was 95. Today it traded below 92. Closed 92.31, down 8.33 or 8.7%. This was not just Disney. This is kind of a symptom of there being some shiny new object for people to obsess about, that being AI. And kind of the bloom is off the rose a little on streaming. Paramount, 15.35, down a half a buck, or 3%. Remember, this stock last week before they reported was 24. So 24 to 15, that's pretty damn dramatic. Also, Warner Brothers Discovery, 12.35, down 66 or 5%. And that one, also down dramatically. In 2021, the stock was $78. So 78 to 12, that's also pretty excessive. The only one that did not get hurt, and that is because who they are and where they trade, is Netflix. Netflix today closed 344.53, up 9.11 or 2.7%. And the reason that I say where it trades is because the Nasdaq, the Megacap Nasdaq stocks, were the only thing that actually closed higher on the day. The Dow was down 221, Nasdaq was up $22 after being up 100 and a quarter. S&P was down $7 after being down about 25. The Russell down 1491. That was actually the big loser of the day, down 0.84, and the transports down 81. What was also interesting was that the VIX was actually down today, just showing even more complacency. It wasn't down much, but on a down $221 Dow, down at all is pretty amazing. Okay, AMLX. This was a big beat. It's a biotech, and everybody raised their prices for it. It closed yesterday at 28.12. On their report, it traded up to 34.21, and tonight it's trading right around 31, which is sort of the low end, over $3 off the high, but still up 206 or 7%. The other biggest problems, aside from the debt ceiling and the CPI and PPI, which came in exactly as expected, were the regional banks. PacWest traded as low as 4, closed 470, down $1.38 or another 22.7%. And this is kind of interesting. The KRE, now this is the regional bank, S&P Regional Bank ETF. And what's interesting here is that when we had the SIVB, Silicon Valley Bank, this collapsed in a matter of days from about 60 down to 41 and change. Today, it traded as low as 35.98. About a week ago, it had another down day where it made a new low versus where it had been of 34.52. So this continues to get even worse. That day when it closed 34.52, it was down only about $2. Today we closed 36.35, down 71 cents, but that's pretty darn close and dramatically lower than where we got the break in March on, as I said, Silicon Valley, Signature, and, you know, we closed 44 then. So we're a solid, um, 15% lower there. Um, Robinhood earnings yesterday was pretty decent. This morning, it was up at 940, up 33. It actually closed 960, up 53 or 5.8%. Two big losers. Sonos, Sono. I mentioned it this morning. It was 15 or so, down about $5. Finished 15.16 today, down 503 or 24%. I will tell you that 3 months ago, I mentioned it this morning, 3 months ago, when they reported good earnings, the stock moved almost exactly to the upside what it did to the downside today. And the last one is Immunity Bio, IBRX. This is interesting because um, they had a drug fail or a drug failure with the FDA. And the stock came from yesterday's close at 622. It traded $2.45 today. It closed 277, and that was down 345 or 56%. What's interesting about this is just how ridiculous some of these law firms are. You know, you pays your money and you takes a chance, especially with a biotech, with a new drug. In looking, if you go to MarketWire or whoever your news source is and put in IBRX, you'll see one story about the problem with the FDA, and then you'll see six different law firms trying to get you to sue the company in a class action suit. Okay, um, screen, copper got pounded today. It's still riding this uptrend line and getting into an apex between the two. This was basically PPI, CPI, debt ceiling, and the market in general for all of these metals. What was more interesting, and something that I bought a little of today and I may do tomorrow for everyone, the silver, which is down another 8 cents today, it was down $1.24 today. That's 5%. It's right back into support. This is the way that I have bought the silver each and every time we've traded it. I've bought it on a break. And so, we'll see how this goes tomorrow. I may want to go into the AGQ, which is where I went today. You'll get a much better price than I did. But to give you um, a comparison, silver down $1.23 or 5%. Gold, on the other hand, was down less than 1% and is, unchanged, slightly higher, 60 cents up, so really not much. But you can see it was a quiet inside day where it spent part of the day on the upside and then closed just barely down. So, in the grand scheme of things, I have to think this is rolling back to the upside, the MACD. The 5 and 20 are still solidly apart. And so I'm actually pretty constructive, at least on the metals. They've really gotten pounded, but again, right to the support. So difficult to argue with that. Okay, Bitcoin below 27,000. I mentioned that last night. Energy lower, oil down $1.69 at just under 71. Um, The U.S. dollar was up about 60 cents at 101.87. Bonds were up 7/8 of a dollar. And nat gas, the only energy that was up today, was up a big penny. But in fact, it was down most of the day with the rest of them, so it recovered. All right, folks, I'll be back tomorrow morning first thing.